Okay, hello everybody. This is my second micro teaching class that we have started at 2:45. Today is November 8th of 2025, and I have one student today that is going to be serving as my witness for this micro teaching session. So today we are going to be talking about imperatives in English. To give a very general explanation, imperatives are a type of sentence that we use to give commands, to make requests, or to offer instructions in English, and they are usually used in everyday conversations or in casual conversations to direct other people to perform specific actions at a certain time. Sometimes we don't say when we need it to happen, but in general, it's just something that we're asking someone else to do. We have the sentence structure, which is relatively simple and typically follows the following 6 guidelines. I'm going to do a very condensed overview of the 6 guidelines since we don't have a lot of time, but I will also just leave the examples here in the recording if you want to revisit them later. So the first guideline that we have for the sentence structure of imperatives, we have just the base form of the verb. So imperative sentences usually begin with the base form of the verb, as we said, which is the infinitive form of the verb without to. For example, when we say just sit down, close the window, eat your vegetables, or study hard. For example, even since these are the base forms of the verbs and these are just phrases or full sentences, it could just be a full sentence to just say sit, close, or like close it, or just eat, study. Even if we just say the verb, it would also just count as a full sentence because the intention is for it to be a command, imperative command. So that's the base form of the verb. The second guideline is the subject pronoun. In imperative sentences, the subject pronoun you is often implied, so you don't have to say you do this or you do that. It is sometimes obvious, implied, and not explicitly stated. However, if you want, you can include it for emphasis or for clarity. Again, this is optional. You do not have to do it. For example, you sit down, or you close the window, you eat your vegetables, or you study hard. Like if you're in a whole group and you're only pointing to one person to do it, then this is when you would emphasize the you. If not, the whole group is going to listen to the command and is obligated to follow it. Then for punctuation is the third guideline. Imperative sentences typically end with a period to indicate a command or instruction, like a full sentence. However, they can also end with an exclamation mark to express more urgency or emphasis. Or even then, I didn't write it here, but if you find something on a sign in the street, for example, it would not necessarily need to have a punctuation point at the end. But when you do, for example, you can write, close the door behind you, or don't forget your homework. Just take out the trash, or be quiet in the library. This is mostly when you're speaking something and you want to just add more emphasis with the punctuation. So that was the third. For the fourth, we have polite forms. Like you can see in the image, this gentleman is showing instructions on what to do. Imperative sentences can be softened or made more polite by adding modifiers such as the word please. Modifiers can be placed at the beginning or at the end of the sentence. So you can say, please pass the salt, or follow me, please, which is probably like what this gentleman is saying, or please wait for me, or don't run in the hallway, please. Again, these are interchangeable. So you can also say, like, pass the salt, please, or please follow me, wait for me, please, or please don't run in the hallway. You can put them either way. For negative imperatives, these are used to express prohibition or negative instructions, like to not do something. They are formed by adding don't before the base form of the verb. For example, don't touch the hot stove, or don't forget to lock the door, don't interrupt me when I'm speaking, or don't run in the hallway. Number 6, our last type, is combined imperatives. You can use it as a mixture of polite and negative instructions. Although not a specified type of imperative, they're still important to note in this selection. So what do you mean? It is simply a negative and a polite, or a positive and a polite. It's just a combination. So like, don't look at me, please, or please don't look at me, or please don't take any pictures in here. Never touch an open flame, like never touch fire that is not contained. Never touch an open flame, please. Or please remember to not run with scissors. That would be a combined imperative. Overall, in general, imperatives are straightforward, so it means it's directly to the point. They are straightforward sentences used to give instructions or commands, and their structure is characterized by the use of the base form of the verb, optional subject pronouns, and modifiers for politeness or emphasis. Where can we find imperatives? We can find them usually, especially in your case, with commands that you get from your boss, your family, your teachers, or class instructions, or like signs you see on the street. This is the first activity, which I will give you time to do on your own. Again, for the sake of the recording, I will just leave it displayed here for you to revisit later. Depending on whether you want to use pencil and paper and send an image, or write these answers down directly in the chat, you can decide which is more comfortable for your specific learning style. But what I really need you to do is to please change these phrases to their imperative form. For example, if you do the first one, you can say, like, please do not smoke in this area. Or maybe the second one, please don't talk loudly. Or be quiet, please. Whatever you believe is best. These are the suggested answers that I have for each of the ten examples I just gave you to write down by yourself. The activity I would want to do together is right here in this link. Let me change the screen sharing and we can start the, let's say, the collaborative part of this session. Okay, could you please confirm that you can see my new screen?
Yes, tutor.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Could you please select one number so we can do two questions out of these quiz?
Um, Number 7.
Okay. Okay. Our question is, where could you expect to see the sign keep out? First, in a public park, or B, in a construction site, or C, in a playground? Keep out is like do not enter.
Okay. For me, is the letter B
Okay,
in a construction site.
perfect. Okay, thank you very much. Could you choose your second number, please?
And number 10.
Okay. No, let's ignore that. I'm sorry. Can you choose another one, please?
Okay. Number 5.
Okay. It's because usually this is with a big group, like in teams, so ignore those points. So when would you expect to see the instruction, keep off the grass? Like don't step on the grass. In a school cafeteria, in a swimming pool, or in a botanical garden?
And the letter C.
Okay, let's check. Great job. Thank you so much. Okay, for now, I think those will be all the questions that we will do. And again, let me go back to the presentation so that we can just finish our last thoughts. Okay, we are back here. If you have any questions, please let me know through the chat, or if there's something that you want to clarify, if I probably didn't explain it well enough here, please just let me know. I have opened my availability for this. Thank you very much for participating in this micro lesson, and I will see you next time. Thank you.
Okay, teacher, thank you.